So I'm the Associate Students Food Bank Coordinator. So I work for Associated Students at UCSB, and we have a um, food pantry essentially uh, that's open to any student at UCSB, and we see about anywhere from 500 to 700 students a day. Last year we distributed a little less than 190,000 pounds of food. Um, and this year we're well on our way to break that record. We in just fall quarter alone we broke over 100,000 pounds of food. So excited about that. We provide a bunch of different types of programs. It is a student run, student led, and I'm just coordinated on a daily and then kind of advise the students, but really try to focus the attention on the students' efforts. It's a great job on campus, and they get to help a lot of students out, their peers, and they come up with some different programs and projects, including our online order system that's focused on the houseless population. So it made so they get to order some pre-made bags and that include items that are easy to eat and don't need a kitchen. There's a diaper program for students with dependents, and they get diapers, baby formula, some baby food, and the wet wipes. And that was really critical during the pandemic when there was limited access. And if you remember, there was limited access to baby formula, and we were luckily still able to get it, and so we were really providing that service for students with dependents. We also have a seed bank, which we're really excited about, launching a central seed bank for university campus farms or gardens. So right now it's just geared towards students, and when they come visit the food bank, they can grab some seeds and grow food at home. But for the bigger farms, and bigger gardens on campus, they just order stuff online, and we just wanted to be able to kind of offer that service because we have a few vendors and we can get more localized seeds. Um, and we're hoping that eventually those farms could save seeds and try to make kind of a circular economy around those that project where students are growing the food, and some of that food comes to the food bank using the seeds that we've saved from the farm, and then redistribute that back to them in the next growing cycle and save a few for other students that can grow at their home or even in the dorms. So yeah. And we have a vending machine program that's I think pretty innovative. Um, and it allows students to get prepared food from a free vending machine. They just have to sign up, and they um can get it's a refrigerated vending machine, so they can get prepared food items, trying to meet them where they're at rather than just giving them ingredients that they might need to cook. Sometimes they're just on the go and they just need some snack right then and there. So if they have access to this vending machine, they can come and check in on it. And there's a lot of different prepared food items, and a large proportion of that is reclaimed and recycled from well, it's not recycled, but reclaimed from the dining facilities and some of the um donations we get from vendors. So it's a nice way to not let that stuff go to waste too. Yeah.
So that's fascinating. Is there land on campus or in the area that students can use to grow food?
Yeah, there's a quite a bit of gardens and um what they call farms. They're just like large gardens producing food. Um they are kind of working independently. They all have different like populations they serve. Um and one of them is also a program of associated students, so it's a student run, student led farm, and they call it the Department of Public Worms. Because they're all worm wranglers is their job titles. I think part of the history of that is that they started a composting program where they were like getting food scraps, and then they grew into using those like vermicompost, like materials into raised beds, and now they have this farm that grows food for the food bank specifically. So a lot of great effort from some students and a staff member to coordinate some food. And today actually they came and dropped some food off, and I think that we got some fava beans and some other good stuff. And so it's just incredible to be part of that cycle of like redistributing the food that they grow that's, you know, less than 500 less than like a quarter mile away. So
That's fascinating. Where else do you get your food? And part of my interest is we're making a film about regenerative agriculture. Does that play into where you get it and sustainable agriculture?
yeah, it's really hard to to know, to be to how do I say it, to be intimate in the topic of like regenerative agriculture and sustainability, and like Larry, like our work in decolonized farming practices and ancestral food ways. um it's hard to be so intimate in that work and yet still be in a position where we have to question whether that sets a priority versus just resource management. And so in food banks there's always this sort of tug and pull between finding healthier, more sustainable alternatives and and versus the calorie intake that we need to just provide for people that need food. So we're always weighing the balance between getting something that might not be as sustainable versus or even as healthy as something that's just going to give someone the calories they need um to survive. So but we try where we can. I mean, the seed bank is a big way we can, let people build their own autonomy and growing their own food. Um we do partner with vendors that um a few vendors, like the Berryman is a local produce vendor that's big in the community. And they just went through the certification process that UCSB offers for um certifying that they get most of their produce from local sourced. I can't remember the exact um quote they gave us, but I think they said something about like um 80% of their produce is grown within 100 miles of their distribution hub.
And
So,
and and is that important to you to avoid traveling costs and
oh,
oil and all
definitely.
that?
Yeah, I mean, not only are we getting high quality produce that's grown locally, but it is and it's delicious. It's also, better in season, better for the environment because of the trip, because it's not wasting a lot of energy getting the food from one place to another. Um, I know the company also just converted all of their office vehicles to run on sustainable they're all electric vehicles. So that's really exciting. And then I know they're building a new facility in Oxnard that's right in the middle of the farms that they produce. So it's the idea is that, it's better for the environment for the distance it's traveling, but it's also better for the consumer to have produce that's, you know, so close and so fresh. Um and yeah, so yeah.
Do the students care whether it's farmed sustainably or not?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like there's a few students that will ask, where we source our stuff, and then do have that sort of question. But um, like I said, when you're in a space where you're more concerned about calorie intake, like whether someone's gonna get a meal or not, I think the question asked is better asked, like what kind of varieties of food I can get that I know that I can cook, that I'm comfortable eating, versus where it's sourced. But from a administrative standpoint, we're trying to use the dollars that we have to make a better impact for the world, and that's so the decision often comes from um us trying to make better choices about how we source our food rather than like kind of a client market, pressure of making us make, more sustainable decisions. So yeah.
Fascinating. Are there students at UCSB who can't afford food?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, um the last report they did a few years ago showed that almost half of students were food insecure.
Really?
And yeah, and we serve a good large proportion of the population, about 22.5% last year. We're definitely growing. Um, but just knowing that it's a big deal to serve a quarter of the population on campus, but it's still a far gap from knowing that half of the students have faced food insecurity in some way. Um, and it's not just there's a lot of other programs on campus that are trying to, you know, make sure that students have a healthy and that they're thriving in classes. Because if we're not getting the calories we need, if we're not getting the food we need in our kitchens and on our plate, then we're stressed out about all these different things that don't allow us to be good, students and to be good learners. So
Well, that's great. That's kind of a once over what I need right now. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me about your program? And I guess the administration would believes in sustainability and regenerative agriculture. Is that correct?
yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not an administrator, right? But I definitely think that, there's that certification that they ask of businesses to do when they become a vendor for the university. Um, I know that associated students have passed legislation or within campus to ban single-use plastic bottles. So it's definitely a way for people to engage you know, in the world we live in and try to make little differences where we can, And that's what we're trying to do at the food bank, is make little differences where we can. Not all the time can we make the right decision um um that uh but we try when we can, yeah. So
Are you a student or were you a student at
no, I didn't go to UCSB. I graduated from San Francisco State, and now I'm a staff member for the associate students, and I act as an advisor and kind of give guidance and to the student-led project. So we have a team about 26 students. Three are kind of in that supervisor role, and they're managing different departments of the operations of the food pantry or the special programs that we have, or just kind of the admin and social media. And then underneath that, we have quite a bit of student leads that do specific tasks like scheduling and inventory management. So it's really a team effort. And then we have, of course, half the team is just working the food pantry, which is our largest program, and stocking the shelves and talking to clients and distributing the amazing amount of food that we get to distribute on a daily basis. On average, I think last month we distributed about 4.5 pounds of food per visit. And
wow.
so students are coming in, they can come once a day, so a lot of students will come like multiple times in a week.
Where is your place?
It's in the UCEN, which is the University Center. Uh, Pretty somewhat central location to a lot of the dorms and a lot of different buildings, but um, we're always trying to meet people where they're at, and so we'll do like pop-up events or try to do some engagement tabling events in other parts of the campus, or even in other parts of Isla Vista that we can, because there's students living off campus and on campus, and so trying to meet them where they're at. But yeah, ours is in the university center.
Well, Daniel, this is very helpful. The process will take over a year, and I hope to interview you some point in person. If it's helpful to you, I also will post this interview online just to spread the word.
Okay.
And I'll follow up with an email. And I thank you so much. You're doing great work there.
No, thank you. I mean, I know every time we talk, like, I just always feel like, I mean, I know it's an interview. I'm supposed to be talking, but I don't get enough chance to tell you how amazing like your work has when we see the end product and like the little clip of Sierra and then the video you sent for the food hub, like that if like it's great PR stuff, but it's also just like a reminder of like to listen to what we're doing and to like realize like how much um uh just how beautiful the work that we get to do is, and so you allowing us to like reflect on that, it just means a lot to us, so really appreciate
Great.
it.
Well, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, nice to see you. I'll be in touch.
Okay, yeah.